Black culture feeds fashion, but fashion doesn't always feed Black creatives. I mean, only 7.3% of American fashion designers are Black. So McDonald's is pairing 5 rising Black designers with 5 fashion insiders for career-changing mentorships and the access they deserve. Because we can do better than 7.3. Together, we can change the face of fashion. Follow their journey on Instagram at We Are Golden.
Statistics sourced from Zippia.com as of 2021.
What's up, everybody? You are now listening to the Success Playbook Podcast, where we talk about pop culture, life and career success, and of course, we're going to talk about who got dunked on the night before. I'm your host, Chanel S. Reynolds, and I've been in the sports industry for several years. My goal is to take what I've learned from years of dominating the sports industry as a Black woman to help my listeners defy the odds and level up in life and career. Now, let's dig into this week's episode. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Chanel S. Reynolds. You are listening to the Success Playbook Podcast by way of the Revolt Podcast Network. Y'all, listen. With the Paris Summer Olympics starting tomorrow, it is only right that I have my good friend Jamal Hill on the show. So make sure you tune in after this short message.
In a world full of rush, pause for a drink. Pure, clear, and fresh. Let your mind think. In every sip of 1-in-8 alkaline, you'll find a taste so pure, refreshes the mind. With a 9.5 pH, it's balanced just right. Electrolytes to keep you bright. Potassium fuels your everyday, keeps you glowing in every way. Drink water and mind your business until it's time to stand on it. 1-in-8 alkaline, the water that keeps you glowing. Let's glow.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You are listening to the Success Playbook Podcast. I am so excited, y'all. Today we have a whole superstar in the building, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. Jamal, what is going on?
Good things are going on. I'm feeling magical, living the dream here in Southern California. Team USA is really the most, I don't know. I know for a fact you can't say or you shouldn't say most bestest, but I'm definitely the most bestest swimming star on Team USA.
Love.
And swimming is a passion. Being of service is a passion. Having conversations with dope people on dope platforms is a passion. So That's what's good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what's your official title? Because what is it?
Yeah. That's a real good one.
Okay.
I'm gonna be that guy because it's like,
that guy.
I feel like in the major cities, definitely you're gonna have your hub of like hustlers. I guess my official title is like I'm a professional dabbler. You know what I mean? Like I swim professionally, Team USA. I've been fortunate enough to be a medalist for our country on the world's biggest competition platforms, the Paralympic Games. I run a foundation, so that's like a business/philanthropy hat. Our mission is to teach 1 million people a year how to swim. And then being in LA, it's only natural. Like I got my hand in, a little bit of production, a little bit of animation, a little bit of, just storytelling ventures. So I guess storyteller/swimmer, you always got to put swimmer in there, I feel like.
Because that's what you are.
Yeah, like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I do. That's what I do.
That's what you do.
That's what I do. That's my main, that's how I blow off steam. And I'm also, it's like a hobby. It's like a professional hobby.
Yeah, and that's like your platform, too. Like, that's what got all the eyes on you.
High key. That's definitely how I got my foot in the door, 100%. Okay. From day one, that's what I wanted it to be anyway. Like just something, that's what we all need. Something to be able to, whatever this is, talk about me, right?
I love it. Okay, well, we're going to dig into all the things that you do in a second. But before we do that, I have a little game that I like to play with all of my new guests. So are you down for the challenge?
Let's play.
All right. So the game is called This or That. So I'm going to introduce you to 2 different categories, and you're going to pick one, and you're going to have to explain your answer.
Easy.
All right. So we're going to start real smooth. Podcasts or books?
Books.
Okay.
Books. I'm going with books. I'm going with audio books. Mainly just because you got like a more like long-term perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like I could get a book that's been relevant, for the past 25, 50, 100 years. And so I lean on that a little bit more. But with podcasts, obviously super dope, but it's also just saturated with a lot of opinions, you know, not that books don't have opinions. It just, I don't know. I'm going with books.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, books are more factual, podcasts are
It's
more
a little bit more factual. Like, it's a little bit more, it took a lot of time to curate and just like, it's a book. I don't know, you know?
Yeah. Do you have a podcast of your own?
Do I have, I've had podcasts in the past, but no, I don't have a steady podcast.
Okay. I asked because you have a radio voice.
Okay. Shout out. Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would love, you know, you're living my dream a little bit. You know, like I want to be a personality. I want to be a host. But in its time, you know. So right now, it's not. Hey, I did narrate an animated movie recently, so that counts as something. Yeah.
Oh, tell us about that.
Oh, it's dope. It's called The Adventures of Swim Uphill. It's a 20. It's a 20-minute short. The teaser just came out. It's gonna come out in spring of 2025.
Okay.
And yeah, actually, what it does, it's actually pretty much my life story up until I get diagnosed with Charcot-Marie-Tooth, which is the type of neuropathy, the type of disease that I have that makes me, you know, a disabled athlete, makes me a part of the Paralympic movement. So it's super dope. It's like 20 minutes, soundtrack, the whole, it's everything. And it's going to be going international, spring 2025. So narrated that. That's super cool. You can check out the preview on my Instagram profile. Swim Uphill.
Okay.
That's my last post.
I'm gonna go watch it. My follow-up question is, how come y'all ain't invite me to be a part of the movie?
Oh, listen, sweetheart. The thing about movies, even a 20-minute one, it takes like, we've been working on this project like at least 18 to 24 months, you know? So there was no, I just met you in what, May, April, June?
It was, yeah.
So we was in the thick of it. Like we was way past, let's add somebody. But the next one, I know who to call.
I can be, okay. Whatever you got for me, I'll be the
I got you.
I'll pop in. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. Martin or Fresh Prince?
Fresh Prince. Everybody likes Will Smith more than Martin Lawrence. We all know that.
Whoa. Wait, we're about to have a healthy debate here. Okay.
Okay, shut up.
Not personality. We're gonna take out personality. I'm talking about the actual sitcom, the artistry of the Martin Lawrence show versus the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with Fresh Prince. It's just like, look at it. Fresh Prince is so iconic and legendary that they had to reboot it. And it's a very successful reboot if you haven't seen it. I advise people to go give it a shot. It's fire. Martin, it's classic. Nobody's hating on Martin, but it's like so over the top. Like it's all personality. It's all Martin doing crazy stuff the whole episode, like every episode. You know, which is dope. Shout out. We love Martin. Fresh Prince.
Okay, all right. Well, that's your opinion.
That's
I'm respectfully disagree.
Yo, Gina, you gotta, okay, listen, that's what it's about. Yeah, Gina is definitely, for sure. I mean, maybe I would give Martin maybe like some more iconic catchphrases because they had the real characters in there. Yeah, like Gina and whatever Shanae's talking about, but yeah, I'm sticking with Fresh Prince.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So let's see. So you're playing Uno, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody puts down a draw 4.
Okay.
Do you put down another draw 4 and have the next person draw 8?
Guaranteed.
Or, okay, you that type. All right.
Boom,
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Easy. I feel like that's the way Black people play anyway.
I feel like that's the way Uno plays it. Everybody knows if you got a matching card, you can play the matching card. Everybody knows.
Thanks. We're on the same page there. I love it. Okay. Thanks for playing the game, Jamal.
Thank you for having me. That was a great game. I love that.
Let's pivot into your childhood. Who is Jamal Hill?
For sure. Yo, shout out. Who's Jamal Hill? Man, I grew up in a 2-parent home, Inglewood. Just like older parents, both of them over 40. You know, when I'm born, only child. So, I had like
wow.
just a lot of wisdom. And both of my parents come from, like a lot of people generation before. My dad was the eldest of five. My mom was like in the middle of, she was in the middle of five too. Like she was fourth of five. So just a lot of years, a lot of life, a lot of just, okay, we're ready to have a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's on that exact same type of time, how really just live. So that's really the environment I came up into. And yeah, it was dope. I came up still when whoopings was cool, like not cool, like it was never like parents are looking to whoop their kids, but
Black culture feeds fashion, but fashion doesn't always feed Black creatives. I mean, only 7.3% of American fashion designers are Black. So McDonald's is pairing 5 rising Black designers with 5 fashion insiders for career-changing mentorships and the access they deserve. Because we can do better than 7.3. Together, we can change the face of fashion. Follow their journey on Instagram at We Are Golden.
Statistics sourced from Zipia.com as of 2021.
it's like, it was a healthy part of the household, like it was like, okay, if you were to F up so bad in such a way, like, this is just how we communicate through that, which is like, so I mean, things like this shaped me when I was coming up. I only ever really went to like private schools or charter schools, so again, just like, I mean, it's still LA, don't get me wrong, but it's just minus all the nonsense, like minus the BS, minus the like extracurriculars, you feel me? Like this really just was never put in that environment, and then also just never thought it was cool, so really didn't choose up on that,
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much like, that was really my home life. That was my after school life. Like, again, both my parents, solid middle class, like government jobs, county jobs. And we was always working out, and like they was working. I was at school. I was in after school programs. I was this, I was that. Like, we never had no pets. Just, I had a goldfish for a little bit, that I went at a carnival.
What was the goldfish name?
Alfred. You
Okay.
know, Alfred, you already know. I was in my Batman era, had to have my Alfred in the mansion, So he held it down for like a year, which is, my mom was shook. She like, this little was supposed to. As far as swimming goes, my mom never really had an opportunity to learn how to swim. For reasons I think maybe different than people might assume. Just, her mom again was a single mom of 4 to 5, because one of my uncles was living between Compton and Arkansas when their family lived in Compton. But my grandma was just like, she pretty much thought my mom could get, molested or something. Like, she's in a swimsuit. She's not there monitoring it, so like anything could happen, and just really was not with it. So her older brothers got to learn how to swim, but her and her younger sister didn't. So when I was born, my mom was just like, yo, if this kid's going to do one thing, is know how to swim, And I think also just like, I mean, I hate like putting things like in cones, but I think it is definitely indicative of the definitely, I think, like, of the larger like urban Black mom experience. It's just like, I want my kid to be on something different. Like, I'm not interested in my kid being a living stereotype or a living statistic. Like, just, I mean, I guess now what we would call progressive, but I think in a lot of ways it's just reasonable, like, so that was it, like I said, but maybe a level of reasonableness, again, that comes with age and wisdom and experience. So that's how I got into swimming, and I pretty much just went from mommy and me to swim team and that was it. I was always, definitely predominantly Black schools when I was younger. I was the only kid swimming, but I don't, like, we didn't even talk about that, it's like, I don't know, it's not something you think about really.
Yeah. Okay, so, all right, you grow up, you learn how to swim.
Yeah.
You're this big time swimmer in your school.
Nah.
Nah? Okay, enlighten me. How did that happen?
Definitely not.
Okay.
I mean, nah, like, sure, I was known as this, and, mind you, this would only count in high school, right? So it's like, I'm known as
Wait,
this
at what age did you learn?
I learned that, I was in mommy and me at 10 months.
Okay.
But then when I turned 10 years old is when I got diagnosed with my condition. So I stopped swimming for like, I don't know, maybe like from 10, maybe like 5 or 6 years until like 16 years old.
Okay.
And then at 16, like I need to get a job. I become a lifeguard. I joined the swim team. I'm going to Sarah High School in LA, which is a big football school, a big sports school. You know, so like a lot of people have gone to the NFL. A handful have made it to the NBA, a few Major League Baseball players, but definitely no Olympic swimmers before me, right? So, but when I was there, I mean, it's like, yeah, like I was the swimmer, but it wasn't like, oh, like Jamal Hill is the next swimmer. You feel me? It was like, oh, like, yeah, Jamal is like the swimmer at the school. Like, he be doing his thing in the conference, but like, Jamal is not at States. You feel me? Jamal is not about to go to the top swimming school. Jamal is going to a D3 swim school. Okay? Like, Jamal, you know, just like low key, I mean, just, you know, was good, but also like I was living in a closet about my disability. You know, like nobody knew that I had this condition. It wasn't something I spoke about. So, I mean, you know, I guess relatively sure I was doing good, but it was like, I don't know. Depending on what you were privy to, like I wouldn't say a hot shot. Like I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say a hot shot.
Okay. So you were pretty much the underdog.
Oh, there we go. That's high key. That's it. I'm the underdog for sure. You got it. Underdog energy.
I got it. Okay. All right. So you were the underdog.
Yeah.
At what age did like the possibility of the Olympics or Paralympics come into your mind?
21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 21. Like I said, I was going to school in Ohio.
What school did you go to?
It's a school called Hiram College.
Okay.
It was one of the former presidents of the university was President Garfield of the United States. So it's like a very small liberal arts school. I was studying physics. All my uncles on my mom's side were like literal rocket scientists, chiropractors, orthopedic surgeons, like just real brainiacs, math and science type dudes. So I kind of, you know, just like wanted to do that, but didn't really want to do it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Either way, so I'm a junior. I'm swimming. I work really hard that season. Get to championships. My parents fly in from out of town. Swim meet goes down. Utter embarrassment. Like, so embarrassing. Don't even make a finals. It's only like 9 teams in the conference, and it's 8 lanes in a swimming pool. So our team was the smallest team, and we were the worst team. So we were so bad that, like, they had our team step up and swim a relay all by ourselves. And then the other 8 teams came and, like, competed against each other. Like, for, you know, so it's like, it was exactly. It was real, like, oh, like, that is pretty sad. Like, it was sad. It had me crying. I was evidently shook.
Yeah.
And just, like, being so shook about it had me take a second and reflect, like, oh, my God, I really care about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get a D in physics. I'm definitely not crying myself to sleep tonight. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, thank God, you know, like we pulled that one off. Like, you know, this close to a C, like, you know, so, yeah, I was just like, well, you know what? If I care this much about it, I should just try and make this a career. Like, what do I got to lose? You know what I'm saying? I'm young. If it doesn't work, great, I'll do something else. But, like, at least I was just hypersensitive to a regret factor. You know, like, I'm not going to say what if, you know? So, boom, I leave college as a junior, come back home to SoCal. This was right before 2016 Rio Games. And then I just started training and, like, really start, like, you know, building up myself, building up my brand. You know, building connections in the city, and when I moved home, it wasn't really for another like year and a half, 2 years before I really had that breakthrough, before I joined the Paralympic movement, before I became a national champion. But like those 2 years was really just, I guess in some ways, I don't know, when you're building a brand or like, you know, you're growing your career, it can feel like you're in the foundation stage for a long time. Like even when you've come out of it, it's like, you know, we're maybe that was 2016, so we're almost 8 years later. And things are great, you know, like been on the cover of LA Times, not just the sports section, like the proper cover of LA Times. That's a pretty elite group, you know, like that's the little, you know, that's a shout. That's a nod to self right there. Shout out to Brant, my former agent. But yeah, it came a long way. But in those 2 years between like dropping out and making it pro, like just developed a lot of skills, you know, just like again, hustling. I moved back home. Kids got to eat, got to put gas in the car, got to figure out what's hot, like what can I sell, and just being ridiculously embarrassing. And I'm like, wow, I care so much about this. Maybe I should just make this my career, right? So come home and between 2016, I'll say like, well, I was a dropout back then, but I'm going back to college soon. I've decided now. But like in 2018, going pro, there was just like that was where
Wait,
just
you
like
dropped
my
out of
hustle
what?
was built. Say that one more time.
You dropped out of what? School or out of
college in 2016. I dropped out of school.
Okay.
Yeah, I dropped out of school in 2016 to go be a pro swimmer. 2018, I made it, the beginning stages, but it was those 2 years in between that have really helped me develop my hustle.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
But that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Because I think people don't know this. People don't realize this, but being a professional swimmer really kind of means being an Olympian, right? So like to be an Olympian, to be a Paralympian, it's really high up on like the honor and respect scale. Like people like, oh, wow, that's impressive. But it's at the like bottom of the financial totem pole for professional athletes.
Okay.
You know, so it's like way up here in terms of honor, respect, to meet the president, all that, but way at the bottom in terms of, you know, you've got gold medalists living in trailer parks, you know, and it's not because they mismanaged their millions, you know, like you know, like they went to pawn that gold medal and realized it was only gold plated, right? So that's like that's what that's the reality of it, you know. So even when you talk about like this kind of underdog theme, and if I had been smarter at this time, I would have probably done something different. But you know, thankfully I wasn't any smarter. Otherwise, it would not be as cool as it is. But that was like a real part of the struggle. Just not only being good enough to obviously like compete on a world level and win there, but actual like kind of be skilled enough to be able to make a living or create a living around that. And that just kind of be like, in some ways, marketing, you know, like I said, it's like a professional hobby a little bit, you know, like if I was only swimming, I'm pretty sure like, you know, in the United States, if you win a gold medal, you get like $40,000. So.
Wow, that's okay. So y'all be training a lot.
Yeah.
Y'all train a lot. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You move around sometimes.
So yeah, some people,
Okay. And then 40K. All right.
Which is like, you know, you're definitely not breaking even on that.
Yeah.
You're talking about 4 years. If you just win one, if you win one gold medal, dude, trust me, you're already in the, you know, what percent of the what percent. But even just one for the U.S., that's 40K. You divide that by 4 years, like, I mean, and again, like I said, it's not a real gold coin at the end. It's like, you know, we're talking about.
So you weren't joking?
Pieces. Oh, that was serious. No,
it's actually gold plated.
Yeah, it's like recycled. They tell you like it's recycled cell phones. I got like a Nokia around my neck with like a you know a few Nokias, right? Like with you know a little bit of gold. It's got its gold plating, but it has no like biting the metal is not about it being real gold. It's about it not being chocolate. You know, like that's really what it's about. Like, oh, it's not chocolate, but this is not how you test real gold. If you bite it, you will not. That will tell you nothing. It'll tell you it's not chocolate.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so there's got to be a real, you know, outside of probably that little handful of Olympians that you could tell me by first name, it's not a viable lifestyle, right? Like outside of an Allison Felix or a Usain Bolt or a Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you could maybe name me like 5 more people off the top of your head that are just Olympic sport athletes. It's like we're talking about that out of hundreds and thousands of people that, again, maybe you're making minimum wage. So, yeah, like it took some shaking. It took some shaking for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just got my nails done, so I'm doing pretty good.
I mean, that $40K paid for a manicure, so I mean,
yo, let's not even talk about that. That $40K is not paying for no manicure. At $40K every 4 years, listen, you got bigger problems than manicures. Like yeah, I don't know where you live in. You got everything is sponsored. Like you don't have a life. You don't have. As soon as you stop doing that, you literally start at zero.
So how do Olympians actually kind of like profit off of this thing? Because like you said, that's not really profitable. Does it come through the sponsorships and the brand deals and things like that?
Yeah, that's going to be the ones who are able to capitalize are going to be having that.
Okay.
But again, like I said, that we're still in reality probably talking about, I mean, I know 1% sounds super elitist, you know, and like too small of a percentage. So I'll say we're still talking about the 5%.
Yeah. Okay.
So out of the 100% that are maybe the world's best athletes across any sport that represent the United States in an Olympic or Paralympic movement, I would definitely bet $100 that probably realistically only 5%. I would bet $500 that definitely no more than 10%, you know, across, you know, maybe even just across 6 years, right? Like make anything more than $50K a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like I would
that's still a
definitely
blessing, but
that.
I would expect more, you know.
You would now if you're in another country, it's different. Like if you win a gold medal in the Philippines, they're gonna give you $1 million.
Really?
Because it's like they never win. But it's like the U.S. The U.S. is taking home medals in everything. Like
yeah, you're right.
They never win. They only got to pay one person $1 million. But it's like obviously, even if it's just swimming, you know, this guy goes to the game himself and wins 7 medals. Well, we got to what's 7 times 4, right? We got to pay him $280,000.
Yeah.
What about everybody else who won a gold, silver, bronze, or some combination of them? You know?
Yeah.
So it's like it's really just not on that scale. It's not, you know, very viable. But yeah, that's just something people don't know. So, you know, people think like, oh, if I could just become an Olympian or if I could just get a gold medal, it would change my life. But it's like, nah, it doesn't change your life, which is like a big reason also why, you know, depression and suicide rates are so high amongst like not just former elite athletes, but specifically the sector of athletes that are Olympic, Paralympic athletes. Because again, it's like you have this great reverence, you know, like when you say you're an Olympian, you might as well say, you know, it's like second to maybe a Nobel Prize or something like that. You know,
absolutely.
like it's up there. Like you got a medal but then it's also like, damn, I thought you would be doing better than this though.
Yeah.
You did all that training for this? Like, you know, it's like people start to look at you funny.
Yeah.
You know, so that's most people's experience. So like I said, like it underscores the importance and the value of a platform and a brand and, you know, just like a consciousness of skill development, because without it, you really are just, you know, you're a pawn on this board, right? Like you're just a pawn. And yeah, like again, maybe you'll get lucky and be the 1 in 100,000 that is a Jamal Hill, or is like maybe you know, some of the other people you can name. I'm over here. Like I said, like glory be to God, like underdog doing the impossible. It really is a miracle. Like it's a miracle. You know, but like statistically speaking, and being in the space and like it's a miracle, but it's not like trust me, I'm not getting no handouts. You feel me? Like I work for everything that I have. You know, so
absolutely
understanding that. It's not like, I don't know, something that you advise people to do it, but you just got to be like, this is like what it really would take for you to be able to, I don't know, like not end up probably depressed and broke. Yeah. So there you go. Shout out lifestyle Lifestyle of the poor and famous.
You're silly. Okay. I want to dig into, okay, so we have the Olympics. Everyone knows what the Olympics is. Not everybody may know what the Paralympics is.
Yeah.
So enlighten us. Tell us what it is.
Guaranteed, man. The Paralympics is ultimately it's the Olympic Games for persons living with disabilities. So it is the Olympic and Paralympic movement. These are brother brands, either sister brands in the United States. It's called the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. That organizes all of our Olympic athletes and all of our Paralympic athletes. Obviously, when you talk about disability, it's very vague, right? Like it encompasses a lot. So within each sport, within each Olympic sport, there is a Paralympic parallel, but within each of those sports, they break up their disability differently, right? So like in my sport of swimming, there's 13 different classifications that you can compete in as a disabled athlete, varying from some type of limb deficiency to some type of paralysis to some type of, blindness or even some type of, cognitive impairment. However, maybe for a sport like triathlon, they only have 3 sections of disability, so it's like all these same people, instead of fitting across 14 groups, now have to fit into 3 groups, or for judo, they might have 5 different groups of disability. So it starts to get very nuanced and starts to get, obviously like in some ways this infinite web, it's not infinite, it's finite, but either way, just like it ensures fair sport, like it ensures the fairest sport possible, which I think is really cool. And then even beyond.
Hey everyone, it's Justin Biggs here from the Biggs vs. Biggs podcast. If you're a fan of sports podcasts, then be sure to check out and subscribe to Biggs vs. Biggs, a show that covers upcoming fights, fight reviews, and interviews with some of boxing's brightest stars. And it's brought to you exclusively by Revolt Podcast Network, anchored in hip-hop, powered by creators.
On the Paralympics, shout out to the Paralympic movement. We support that, but they have a new league coming out that the Olympic and Paralympic Committee is not at all happy about, but it's this professional sports league that is going to be allowing athletes to pretty much do whatever they want to their bodies and compete against one another. Okay. So, like there'll be no like drug banning, but there'll also be, if you remember a few years ago, there was that runner, like Cat Williams did a very famous stand-up, Little Tink Tink, right? Yeah. There was a runner and he had the blades, and initially everybody's like, oh, this guy's going to get smoked. And so they let him race. And then he ran and he won. And then everybody was like, nah, what, WTF, that's cheating. This fool got signs. Yeah. And so he got stripped and he wasn't allowed to compete. So this stripped? New... For that ratings, we'll say yes, but fact check that. Either way, he wasn't allowed to do it again. He was banned. Okay. That was it. It was a one-time only thing, okay? Dishonorable discharge. And either way, this new league that's coming about is going to be allowing athletes to participate in all that and do all that, So, and they'll like also have salaries. So I think it's good, like institutions like the Olympics, like the Paralympics, they're fire and they have legacy, but also like any type of monopoly, unless you have competition, it's going to be ultimately probably not only bad for the customer, but it's going to be bad for the product, which is the athletes, right? Because they only got one route. It's like, you can be poor and famous, but maybe now with this league, you can be like middle income and less famous, like there's more viability to, you just got to have options, I think, in any type of workspace. So yeah, shout out. I can't tell you the name of the league yet, but just know that in the next bit, like it's good. The Olympic space will have some real good, healthy international competition.
Okay. So, all right. Thank you for enlightening us. So we have the Olympics, the Paralympics. You're silly. Paralympics is for those who are differently able. And you said you were diagnosed with
Charcot-Marie-Tooth.
Charcot-Marie-Tooth. Can you enlighten us? Can you share what that is?
Oui. Parlez-vous français?
Huh?
Parlez-vous français?
Is that French?
That is French. Do you speak French?
No.
No? Okay, it's all right. No, we're not going to hold it against you. I don't speak French either. I'm working on it, though.
Okay. You're learning? This is a hobby, or is this for...
I was actually a French minor in college.
Wow.
And I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but just kind of as a part of my international work and statesmanship,
Yeah.
you know, like I just believe like it's a goal of mine to be able to pretty much speak the colonizer languages because, you know, I'm trying to reach the people that have been colonized. So
Okay.
English, Spanish, French, those are, you know, my Spanish is really good, but my French is starting to build a little bit. Either way. So yeah, it is like a hobby, I guess, but also it's career. My work and play are intertwined.
Okay.
What were
The
we saying?
colonizer languages, it took me out. I'm sorry. That
Yeah, right? That's
it
what they
knocked me
are,
off
right?
track. I'm sorry.
Isn't that what they are?
Yes,
Right?
that is exactly what they
Why
are.
does so much of Africa speak French? Like, why does so much of the
Yeah,
Americas speak English? Why does so much
yeah.
of the Americas speak Spanish? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
that's, you know, so
Look. Yes.
gotta get, yeah, you know, it's a shame, but gotta get the colonizer languages. So either way. What were we saying before I derailed us with that?
You were sharing with us your diagnosis.
Yeah, so either way, we had that segue via French because Charcot Marie Tooth is actually the last name of 3 French scientists, Dr.
Got
Charcot,
it.
Dr. Marie, and Dr. Tooth. And
Got
they
it.
pretty much discovered this neuropathy for me, from my knees to the soles of my feet. It feels like I have 0% nerve capacity. So it feels like I'm walking on my knees at all times.
Oh
You know,
wow.
so
Okay.
like running, jumping are not strong suits for me. But that's really what my everyday experience is like. It affects maybe about 1 in 2,500 people. So I would say like decently common, you know.
Okay.
And then obviously a lot of people just live with neuropathy, whether it's hereditary like me or by virtue of some other, you know, health defect or complication like diabetes. You see people develop neuropathy through diabetes, and just other like lifestyle choices and habits. So either way, that's what it is. That's how it affects me.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you were to kick me in my lower leg, I would feel that. You
Okay.
know, but like something like wiggling my toes, or
Okay.
you know, like no matter how many calf raises I do, my calves are like never gonna get puffy. You know, they're never.
Oh.
It's kind of like walking on stilts a little bit, except my stilts are flesh and blood. You know, so
Oh wow.
that's what the
Okay.
experience is like. That's what qualifies me for the Paralympic movement. So when I was diagnosed, it was really inflamed condition, and so I was paralyzed. And it
Mm.
can get to that, but like I said, my everyday life now, I learned how to rewalk. I've learned how to like hold things right, this, that, and the other. So it's been 18 years. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm like a movement maestro, you know, like the illusion of movement, you know. So every couple years I have to go to the doctor to get recertified to participate, you know, in the Paralympics. And it's like, oh my God, like I'm doing this test. You don't feel that? You're not reacting to this? You shouldn't be able to walk. And it's just like, oh, you know, like life is funny like that. You know, you shouldn't be able to walk, and boom, you're walking. You know,
Yeah.
so that's that.
That's your experience. Okay. Does it affect you like daily though? Like, do you feel any pain or anything? Or
Oh, no pain.
okay.
But definitely just like general lethargy.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a little bit like, this is me being slightly melodramatic, but it's a good one. It's kind of like that dude who has to roll the ball up the hill all the time, like every day. Like he rolls it up every day, and right when he gets to the top, like it slips and it goes all the way back to the bottom, and he has to roll
Okay.
it back up. It's like
Okay.
some type of Greek mythology. I don't know, but
Okay.
long story short, he's a really strong guy, you know, like,
Yeah.
and but like it still is an everyday struggle.
Yeah.
It's still in
Okay.
there. Like some days he gets farther up the hill than other days, but like every day it starts fresh. No matter how
Yeah.
strong he gets, it's, you know, it's always gonna take, you know, a lot of effort, a lot more effort than if he didn't have to roll this big old boulder up the hill for sure. You know,
Yeah.
so I think that's kind of the most relatable way to express it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being transparent and sharing that with us.
Oh yeah, for sure, easy. My homies call me Mr. Glass, so
Mr. Glass?
Mr. Glass for my transparency. It's one of my signatures.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
I
So you're
definitely
not
can
new
pick
to this.
that
You're
up.
true to this.
No one calls me that.
All right. So are you an advocate now for? I'm sorry. Remind me of the name of the disease again.
Sarcoma tooth. You could call it CMT. Shout out to the
CMT.
Sarcoma Tooth Research Foundation. Finding a
Yes.
cure.
Shout out to them. Are
Am I an
you
advocate? 100%.
vocal?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm definitely a statesperson for disability advocacy, both nationally and internationally.
That's awesome.
I'm holding an office right now with the United Nations through the Envoy Youth Office. So
Awesome.
I've been in this seat for about a year. I have another year in this seat. And yeah, it's definitely focused on disability advocacy and ultimately drowning prevention efforts around the world.
Yeah. That's dope. I love that. Congrats. Keep doing the good work, Jamal.
Listen, somebody's got to do it, man.
Somebody's gotta do it.
Somebody's got to do it.
Okay, this next segment is called "Put Some Respect on My Name."
Put some respect on my name. Okay, for sure.
On my name.
Like I'm going to do good on this.
You are, because you confident. And they call you Mr. Glass, so you transparent.
And they call me, yep.
So tell us a little bit about your career highlights. Now, you talked a little bit about being a gold medalist. We talked a little bit about your film that you had.
For sure. I'm just like thinking, like, this is great. I get to reflect on these highlights. They're great. They're great highlights. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Humility. Listen, this podcast is not the place for humility. You can talk your stuff.
I'm super humble. I'm only going to tell you things that are true here.
I love it. I love it.
I'm only going to tell you true things here.
I love it. But no, and I say this because I want the people to know exactly like who they talking to, right?
Oh, for sure. Guaranteed.
So let's go. First and foremost, can we talk about where I met you?
Oh yeah, shout out. We met at the ESPYs. We met on the red carpet of the ESPYs. Yeah.
You were on the red carpet.
Yeah.
Looking
I was
fly.
a nominee. I was nominated for the Humanitarian Award at the ESPYs.
Tell them again.
Yeah,
tell the people again.
I was nominated for the Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Award.
Yes.
So that's where Chanel and I met on the red carpet of the ESPYs. And I was on the hunt, and I could tell, like, oh yeah, she's got it. I need to chat with her. And boom. Number 2 now. This is our second conversation.
Dope. No, it was such a dope vibe. You were definitely like so down to earth, and I was so impressed by like what you had going on. So
okay, shout out. Thank you.
Yeah, shout out.
Appreciate it. So that's a big one. Obviously, yeah.
Nominated for say it again, Muhammad Ali.
The Muhammad, I was a nominee. I was one of 3 people nominated for the Muhammad Ali Sports Humanitarian Award.
Okay,
and what did 2023. What did I do?
What did you do to get that nomination?
Oh, I run a foundation, the Swim Uphill Foundation, a for-purpose venture. Our mission is to teach 1 million people a year around the world how to swim, focusing on ultimately underserved communities, low-income communities. A lot of times that reflects people of color. With an emphasis on youth 6 to 12 years old. So we do programs nationally through the YMCA here in Los Angeles. We do international programs in Colombia. We have children's books that help us bring into schools things like Sammy Swims, cultural products and books for other, cultures outside of just the African American experience, like Selena Surfs. For the Hispanic market, we've got a new one coming out called Kia Kayaks. This is really speaking to more Aboriginal North Americans in Canada and things like that. So really just that's what it is. It's just like bringing swimming awareness and education to the masses that need it, that don't have access to it in a really fun, consumable way.
Love it. Okay.
So,
now I wanted you to... Yeah.
So we got the nomination. We got the nomination, and that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Just we warming up. Give it a few more years, and we'll walk away with the award. But at least we got the nod for sure. So that's what's up. Like I said earlier, after 2021 Paralympic Games, it was on the front page of LA Times. So like the front page.
The front page.
The front page. Not the sports section front page. Proper front page. So that's what's up. Let's see. Been in, cover spread, not cover, but like main spread in Men's Health. Obviously I have one. Health. Yeah, I had like a centerfold spread in Men's Health. So that was pretty dope. Let's see. I was a Speedo athlete. Most people, when they think swimming, they think Speedo. So I was a title Speedo athlete. Had a big old, like 15-story billboard right next to LAX, right over by Inglewood, right where I grew up. So all the people, that definitely took me to hood famous for sure. You know, like right off the freeway, everybody that I know and grew up around was driving past me. It was like, dang, like I'm talking about big, the whole side of a skyscraper. Not a skyscraper, but like the whole side of a real official building, you feel me? Like 30 plus stories. Boom, Jamal Hill swimming. So that was pretty crazy. Not many people could say they've been larger than life in their city, you feel me? Like, and I was all across the city. So shout out to Speedo, that was dope. Man, like I said, I hold a position with the United Nations. It's not every day you meet somebody that is, that's when I was a kid, that's like, dang, okay, I don't know. I feel like that's a little something. And then, yeah, man, those are some big ones. And then, I think just also the biggest thing is probably just like the appreciation that it's not who you are, it's how you are. You feel me? So it's like, as much as these medals and accolades are super dope and they add a little bit to that, like, oh, this is who I'm talking to. Like, what's most valuable is like, not who you're talking to, but how that person is, right? Like, I mean, obviously we should all be proud of ourselves and we should work hard, but at no point in time should that lead us to be like, I'm better or bigger or more worthy or more valuable than anybody else doing anything, or lead us to a place of, so yeah, I really just, a lot of times I'm just like that neighborhood swim guy,
The neighborhood swim guy.
I'm just,
Can that be the
neighborhood
name of
swim
this
guy.
episode?
Huh?
Can that be the name of this episode?
Oh, for sure. Neighborhood swim guy, aka Mr. International, it's that fun mix in between, it's like, I can't wait to be an old man and some little kid come around and start finding out who their neighbor is. Like, let me teach you something. Yeah, but nah, that's pretty much it. So those are some big ones. I think that's like that's some big ones. I think the only goal I haven't crossed off yet, I'm still working on an Olympic gold medal, a Paralympic gold medal. And then, I mean, like, who's not trying to hit $1 million, So it's like, I feel like, and obviously teach 1 million people how to swim. So I got like a big 3, but we've been having a good track record. So I think, it's possible. It's possible.
You've been doing amazing. You've been doing amazing.
Shout out to Sandra and JB.
Shout out to Sandra and JB. Who are they?
That's my parents.
Miss Sandra and Mr. JB.
Amen to that. Yeah.
Big shout out to them.
Yep.
When I met you, you challenged me to learn how to swim.
You already know what the business is.
It didn't happen yet.
It's all good.
Can you give us like a mini tutorial? Just walk us through what to do when we get into a pool.
Yeah, for sure. So the first thing that you would do when you're ready to take that journey is you would find yourself on swimuphill.org or swimuphill.com.
Okay.
That's step number 1. Step number 2, what you're going to do is you're actually going to learn that what you think is about to happen for your swim experience is not what's about to happen. You're going to think like, wow, I need a pool and I need a professional instructor to really get this going. And when you visit our site, what you're going to find is we've already got a professional teacher for you on our site. And number 2, as long as you've got access to clean drinking water and really a bowl big enough to put your face into, we're going to start your swim lesson with that exactly. We're going to start to teach you the core skills of swimming. Absolutely, 100%. And that's really what makes our organization so special is our flagship program called Bowl Bench Bucket. And so as we're teaching all these people how to swim, whether they have fears of water or whether they just have like really a low economic environment, what they're able to do is access these core skills from the comfort of their own home with a professional instructor virtually. So it's really nice. Yeah. So with the bowl of water, we teach you how to breathe, how to get your face wet, air in the mouth, out of the nose. You ever gotten water up your nose?
Yes.
People hate it. We all hate it. It's terrible.
Terrible.
So it's like I say it all the time. Learning to swim is not rocket science, But, and Chanel, you can probably relate to this. You seem like, not you seem, I know you're a smart woman, but you seem like you're definitely pretty decent at like basic arithmetic. Would that be a safe bet? Like
Yes.
basic, like addition,
Yes.
subtraction.
Yes.
Right? So if I gave you a worksheet of addition and subtraction and I said, fill this out, you'd probably say, okay, no problem. But if I gave you that paper and I sat you in a tiny desk and I cleared out the room and I turned the temperature way down and you're cold and you're shivering now, and I put a tiger in the corner and it's licking its lips and you're not sure if it's going to eat you or not, like completing that worksheet might become almost impossible. Like there's too much going on right now. This simple thing is now, and that's really what swimming is. So what we do is we start to remove those barriers so that we can really get to what the core of what we're looking to accomplish is and help people be successful with something that they've never been able to be successful with before. So that's what we're about. That's how we would do it, So like I said, just find yourself at Swim Uphill and you're going to start online. Like that's the beauty of it. By the time our students get to the water, they already have these prerequisite skills. I mean, the only real differentiator we have is like if they're able to take their feet off the floor or not. Like that's going to be the biggest challenge that we face once we finally get to the pool.
So floating.
It doesn't matter if you sink or float, but if you take your feet off the bottom and you sink or float and we do the things that we've learned online and in practice before that, guess what? You're going to start to move forward. You're going to start to be able to maneuver a breath. And we're going to be that much closer to you being a competent swimmer, at least competent enough to save your own life.
Okay. Love that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. This is like really fresh. I just finished writing a 72-page business plan following our board retreat for the foundation. So it's like, I'm not going to cite all 72 pages for you right now of our 2024 business plan, but it's thorough. It's thorough. No, I doubt any of our board members actually read it. So, we'll see. We'll see.
So as we wrap up, like, tell me, what are some of the core philosophies that you live by?
Yeah, core philosophies. Like I said, 1, it's not who you are, it's how you are. 2, definitely don't live with regrets. Number 3,
Do you have any regrets?
Any regrets? I mean, yeah, of course. Not in the sense of maybe like any like real big, like, I wish I had gone left when I should have gone right. But it's like, who hasn't mistreated someone in their life? Who hasn't, my regrets are not just limited to career. It's like, yeah, of course. Like, I wish I had treated this person better. I wish I treated myself better in this time and space. So, more like interpersonal and interrelationship regrets. But yeah, nothing like maybe more in the classic mystique of what we think when we talk about regrets. But yeah, life is short, like don't be silly. I'm not telling you to gamble, but like some things you only find out. What's the saying right now? Like the more you F around, the more you find out. Like you're only gonna find out. But then also another core principle is you gotta know when to hang it up. Like
that's a fact.
You gotta know when to hang it up. Like,
yes.
For me, it came a time when I'm like, I gotta hang this college thing up so I could do this.
Okay.
And had this swimming thing not been cracking, please believe I would have hung it up. Like we would have been doing something else. Like it's not never being so married to something that. Yeah, like sometimes like failure. Like another one is, you got to be careful about this with kids, but once you're mature and you have your core principles and values, I think another way to say it is like, you got to know when to quit. Like I think that's also, it can be a toxic mentality. Like never quit, like people who don't quit things. It's like, nah, if it's not serving you, got to quit. Like I don't, I'm not your moral counselor, but I guess the biggest thing also would just be shout out to God, like the creator, just God, you know what I'm saying? Like gotta have a great relationship with God. Like all of my impossible dreams are 100% like grounded in prayer. 100%, like all grounded in prayer. I was literally just telling my partner the other day, I'm like, yo, I got to bring all the older women in my life together so we can have a prayer circle because I need some help right now with this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, I'm that guy. Like I'm calling the king that needs to bring all the priests together for them to pray for him. That's me. Like listen, mom, auntie, great aunt. Oh baby, you too. Yeah, call your great aunt. Tell her, listen, I'm bringing lunch, but we coming over here and we praying for Jamal this afternoon. So like God and prayer. And yeah, like I think it's just something really powerful about like making covenants with God, like making pacts with God, and like having it be really conscious and ever present. Having like this living contract is, I mean, it's not failed me, So as I speak, I can only imagine, if we are serving the same God, then trust me, I'm not special. So it will take, how that's supposed to take for you. So. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much. I think that's it, man. I'm a talker, so I could probably come up with some more stuff, but we'll leave them with that.
That was good. All right. What you got coming up?
Yo, coming up, I'm gonna be in Orlando next month for the national championships of the U.S. Paralympic movement. So
you were just in DC.
I was just in DC. I had a chance to swim with the Howard swim team. Go Bisons! Shout out 50 kids on that team, man. They're growing. Shout out to head coach Nick Askew. Real dope, real just welcoming, loving environment. So love that. That was rare. I don't like race is a bit taboo, but like it was super dope because it's an all black swim team. So coming up as a swimmer, again, like all white swim teams, all Hispanic swim teams on the east side, all Asian swim teams. Like, it's part of the culture, it's part of the experience. So that was my first time in 28 years getting down with I was just all smiles. The whole practice
I love that.
It was exhilarating. It was truly an exhilarating experience. And then, next year is Paris. So the Paris Games are going down. Every Paralympic Games, I'll drop a clothing collection. So we dropped a collection for Tokyo. The Tokyo Tees limited release. It was only one of the Tokyo Tees, but we're coming out with a collection of about 5 pieces for Paris. That'll include some T-shirts and possibly some embroidered puffers. So really dope designs. Stay tuned for that. And then got a book dropping next year. That's dope.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's called It's Not Rocket Science.
Love that. Is that because you were a physics major?
A little bit because I was a physics major, but it's also really just because like swimming is not rocket science. Like,
oh, okay.
That's like, so it's like it's a really cute cover. We spent a lot of time on it, but it ties an element of my life in perspective. Like it really tells the story of the African diaspora and aquatic culture and swimming, from the 1300s all the way up to, modern Jim Crow into the era that we're in right now. And then, and it's a really actually very rich culture. And then as a part of that, it provides our do-it-yourself, like learn to swim method. So people can have that history and they can also, should they decide, break out a bowl and really start getting to learn and really become accustomed to that journey. So it's pretty cool. It's got history, it's got some application and a little bit of Jamal in there. So those are the things coming up for 2024.
That's what's up. Well, we are rooting for you over here at the pod. We are praying for you so you can add us to your auntie prayers, your mama's prayers, all that. And we are wishing you nothing but the best.
Yo, likewise. It's mutual. 100% mutual.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jamal.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
But that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.